Hey, welcome back to Deck Check. I'm Ganesh. Recently, there was a top 16 match where a player blatantly lied about their game actions. So let's take a look at that top 16 situations, the rules about lying, and finally cEDH culture and the social contract to answer the question, should you lie in cEDH? So here is the top 16 game. As a disclaimer, please do not contact or harass this player. Their username is cropped out of the video for a reason. To set the stage, the player in the top right looked through his hand and graveyard several times before any of this happened, so he definitely knows what he has at this point. He is now casting a phantasmal image to copy a Dockside Extortionist to get treasures. The other players are considering whether to let the image resolve and whether or not to crack their treasures so he gets those mana. So let's take a look at what he says.
Remember?
My guy, I'm not winning. I'm gonna get some mana to fight him. I don't know what to tell you, man.
I have to pass on, I'm passing on image.
Yeah. Private?
Yeah, you good.
How many am I getting?
You got 3 for me.
Well, I'm thinking if I should sack 7 right now.
You can believe me if I want to. I don't got no win. Well, I'm trying to get stuff to fight him.
Okay, yeah, so he said multiple times here that he is not trying to win. Keep in mind, before this, he has looked through his hand and graveyard several times. So it's reasonable to assume that he knows he is able to use Savine's Reclamation and that he has Underworld Breach in graveyard. So let's move ahead a little bit here to 240.
This is being trick.
So there's a Sabine's Wreck on the Breach.
Yeah, what's your target?
Targeting.
Breach.
Oh, the lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't have to look through the graveyard. He already knew it was there.
Hey, I'm sorry. I honestly didn't see the line until I started playing through it.
Sure, but yeah.
Well, you still could have kept your word. Like you said.
I apologize. I really didn't see the line. We're in top cut.
I mean, it doesn't make it okay to lie.
Doesn't make it okay.
I apologize. I don't know what to tell you, man. I am attempting this Sphinx Direct targeting this breach. Everybody can draw. Good game. I'm sorry. I didn't see the line.
Okay, so yeah, I'm going to try to stay neutral on what happened. He says he didn't see the line. He tries to justify his position by saying they were in top 16. But honestly, based on the video evidence and the way the player sounded a little guilty, he was trying to justify his actions, I think it's reasonable to assume they were trying to lie to gain a competitive advantage. I mean, any blue farm player knows that, Underworld Breach just wins the game, and Sabine's is also very critical to our strategy. So let's look at the rules surrounding this topic and see if this player actually broke any of them. So a lot of this is going to have to do with information. So we'll look at the 4 types of information in Magic. Starting off, status information is information that must be announced anytime it changes, and it's got to be physically tracked by the affected player. So life total is a good example. If someone ever asks you your life total, you have to answer truthfully. You can't just say figure it out, or you can't lie about your life total. You have to be truthful. Free information is information to which all players are entitled access without contamination or omissions made by their opponent. So a player always has to give all free information to their opponent accurately upon request. So think phases and steps. So if someone asks, hey, are you in main phase? Are you in combat? You have to answer truthfully. Derived information is information, again, to which all players are entitled access, but opponents are not obliged to assist in determining, and it may require some skill or calculation to determine. What this means is if you have a Vampire Nighthawk, which is it's a flying 2/3 creature and it has Death Touch and lifelink. If you ask your opponent what does that do, they can just say it's a flying 2/3, and they don't have to tell you it has Death Touch and lifelink, because if you were to just read the card yourself, you would be able to figure it out. Next up is private information. So this is hidden information, basically. It's only certain players will have access to it. So think, for example, your hand. Players should not know what's in your hand unless you got Get Probed or Telepathy or something like that. Players can lie about hidden information. There's absolutely no penalty to lying about what's in your hand. For example, if you have mana drain and you have 2 blue mana open, you are allowed to lie and say, I don't have a counterspell. So based on this info about hidden information, this player didn't actually break any rules. So what's the problem then? Just like with casual EDH, there is a social contract in cEDH, but it is very different. In cEDH, you should take all the mechanical game actions you can to win. It's a competitive format. However, there are two major things, while not strictly against the rules, are very, very frowned upon and can lead to negative social consequences for players. In cEDH, you frequently have to work with your opponents to stop another opponent from winning. For example, if a player is trying to win and has multiple counterspells to back up their win attempt, the other 3 players at the table usually have to work together to stop the win. Being known as a liar can severely undermine your ability to work with your opponents to achieve a temporary common goal, and means players are less likely to make deals with you in future tournaments. To put it simply, lying will give you a short-term benefit in the tournament, but afterwards you will probably have a tougher time winning games. My advice to you as a player is to never ever lie to your opponents, no matter what. It's better to just take a game loss and try again at another tournament than have your reputation ruined. The other thing cEDH players really frown upon is kingmaking, where a player takes actions that would cause one opponent to win over another opponent. It's generally best practice to always take the route that will help you succeed, and not ever try to help someone else win the game. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, if I shouldn't lie to my opponents, what about politics? That's a great point, and here we can see Fervent Alchemist's tweet about the situation. So not saying anything, withholding certain information, saying I'm not sure, trying to change the topic, are all strategies players use to gain an advantage. However, there's a large difference between being deceptive and outright lying to your opponents. Politics and a little bit of deception are just part of the game, but completely lying is seen as unsportsmanlike, and it's very discouraged. In my opinion, if a large enough percentage of players just constantly lied, the game just wouldn't be as enjoyable anymore. So, if you made it this far, thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please remember to like and subscribe, and definitely check out the Discord. See ya.